Can you talk a little bit about the transdermal delivery method that you're pioneering?
Definitely. And this is a real key. The great majority of the population has gastrointestinal disturbance. So there's digestive issues, and there's no guarantee that when you put something in your mouth that it will ever go to the target. Using a transdermal delivery system bypasses the obvious obstacle of going through the gastrointestinal tract and bypasses some of the liver issues that can sometimes impair the utilization of hormones as well as some of the nutritional cofactors. So we can custom formulate based on the panel, based on medical history, based on primary concern, those individual components that when combined together work in synergy in order to have a greater impact as a whole, as opposed to trying to unilaterally or individually affect a certain mechanism. So one of the great advantages of the laboratory is the ability to take an individualized diagnostic and create an individualized protocol in order to affect it in a positive way.
Can you discuss the relationship between sexual health and libido and the stress factor in someone's physiology and life?
You know, human beings are the only mammals that exist that while in the fight-flight mode would even consider procreation. There are certain mechanisms that have been in place since the dawn of this body, going back 65,000 plus years ago, that ensure that when we reproduce, we're going to reproduce in a healthy manner. We've become so dysregulated over the course of the last 65,000 years, and with the invention of such aspects such as artificial light, those natural cues from the environment have been disturbed to such a great extent that it affects our 24-hour biological clock. When you affect the survival mechanisms in the body and you affect the primary survival hormone cortisol, it has a spillover aspect as far as the entire hormonal cascade. The sex steroids, such as estrogen, progesterone, testosterone, are byproducts of hormones that are produced within the adrenals, as well as the reproductive organs. These believed sex hormones have a far-reaching impact over and beyond reproduction in the body and are absolutely essential, not only to maintain them in the proper levels, but to also maintain them in the proper ratios or interrelationship amongst them, these very important hormones. So being able to look at the ratio or interrelationship between these becomes a very important factor. When we address the issues on a survival level, everything that is downstream from survival, it then flourishes. When you're in the survival or fight-flight mode, the body essentially goes on hold. The cells posture themselves in a defensive manner, waiting for the impending doom. When you take somebody out of that mode, it gives their body the ability to flourish and for normal cellular function to reestablish itself. It doesn't function in that manner in survival physiology or when the body's in the fight-flight mode. One of the big issues is that this has always been considered by the medical community a short-lived event based on the half-life of adrenaline being 4.5 minutes. In actuality, adrenaline is purely the trigger, and cortisol is the bullet, having an impact somewhere in the area of 6 hours. So this is one of the reasons why we look every 4 hours in order to look at the specific dynamic of the cortisol.